John Scott, Lindsey, Moppert here after the Bills using a walkthrough for Wednesday here, headed into their wild card round matchup with the Denver Broncos Sunday at 1 o'clock. So we didn't see them on the practice field, but we'll just knock off some of the injury notes. Brandon Codrington, the only one missing the walkthrough due to an injury, suffered a hamstring injury in the Patriots game. Unknown at this point whether or not the Bills will have their primary return man, so that'll be something really the only thing on the injury front, thankfully, that we'll be monitoring throughout the week. Jamarcus Ingram absent, dealing with a personal matter. Amari Cooper back from his personal matter, and even more encouraging, Terrell Bernard, good to go, according to Sean McDermott, after dealing with a quad injury last week.
Yeah, and Terrell Bernard, that news, I think we saw that coming last week on Thursday, was practicing. I believe he was limited, but as we know, in that regular season finale, it was really all about staying healthy, so they weren't going to risk putting him in there.
And we've seen what this Bills defense does and does not look like with Bernard in and out of the lineup, including in the postseason. So absolutely a boost, although I still think chemistry building between him and Matt Milano, and just there is this dynamic a little bit of certain guys and the group as a whole getting some unity and synergy and symmetry together with one another, because guys have been in and out of the lineup all season.
Yeah, and I think it's tough. It's one of those things about the defense where we credit them for being able to do that, switch guys in and out constantly. But the thing about Bernard and Milano, they were this power team, then Milano's out, then he's back in, then he's back out. So, of course, it is going to take a little bit more time. You can't really just expect him to pop back in and make the same impact that he's made over the last, couple of years.
Postseason beginning, the Bills no stranger to that, obviously, but I don't have to tell you, they haven't even really sniffed getting to the ultimate goal here, bounced in the divisional round the past couple of seasons. The AFC Championship game seems like, honestly, so far long ago in the distance at this point in time. You were not here. I was. I've been here. Drought time as well, so I've kind of come the whole gamut here. But this team has new guys. It has guys that have been through this. So a lot of the questions I was asking guys today was, how much do you actually draw from falling short of the goals here? And you heard from Josh Allen, and we heard from Sean McDermott, and I heard from guys. I think the responses were pretty unified in the, hey, you put it over there, you want to see it, but it's not going to truly dictate how they perform this weekend.
And how about Von Miller? 14 years in the playoffs, back up. 14 games in the playoffs. And he said that, with some of the younger guys, as you said, I think they had maybe a little meeting, talked about, as you said, the younger guys, older guys, some guys have been in the league for however many years, but haven't been to the playoffs in, 9, 10 years, or coaches, players, all the same. And Vaughn was saying it can get overwhelming a little bit sometimes to want to kind of relay that message and things that he wants to tell those guys, but also not to put too much on their plate and kind of, as we talked about, put too much pressure, I guess, back into the picture when they're just trying to play their game as they have been this entire season.
AJ Epinesa, I said, do you almost want to feel the pain again that you have felt when losing to the Chiefs and when losing to the Bengals in these postseason games of past? And he says, it kind of does help focus you a little bit. Taron Johnson saying, yeah, you kind of dig there a little bit as like a motivation and adding urgency, which these guys all understand. But Spencer Brown, I think, was the most interesting reaction to me. He said it's the most calm he has ever felt going into a postseason. This is, I believe, his 4th season in the league, 4th playoff run. And I think there are going to be a lot of guys, and maybe this team as a whole, that just feels more comfortable in the position they are in based upon how they're entering the postseason and maybe just the DNA overall of this roster.
And I think that has to do with the fact that we were talking about it earlier, Josh Allen saying, what changes, I guess, when you have this added pressure of, as you said, they've come close to maybe taste it, but not exactly, haven't gotten that far yet. And Josh said, we're not going to change anything from what we've been doing this season. That's why we are in the position that we are in, regardless of being the 2 seed the last couple of years and maybe not getting up to that 1 seed. It doesn't matter. We've been successful this year for certain reasons. We're not going to change up now. Also adding, again, back into the culture of the locker room, I guess, right now, is just how much fun they're having. And he said the minute that we tighten up and we don't let loose, I guess, out on the field, that's when problems arise.
100%. I think the good, encouraging thing about this team offensively, at least, is they've shown the ability to win and be productive in multiple ways. Obviously, Josh Allen, MVP frontrunner, the campaign, we'll see how that shakes out, but he's played at that level puts the cape on, they can ride that to victory. James Cook, another standout season. They can win the game on the ground and in the trenches as well. And even though there have not been Stephon Diggs or these huge games from pass catchers, I think everybody eats the diversity that they have. So that's the encouraging thing for me against a very good Denver Broncos defense where I think, as Sean McDermott said, basically every game I'm going to tell you, the game is won and lost at the point of attack and the line of scrimmage.
And Josh Allen touching on that as well, saying that it does give him confidence knowing that, again, when you're facing a defense like this Broncos defense and dominant in that way, that it's you have confidence knowing that you can kind of spread it out. They can't necessarily target you in one certain area, which again, going back to the everybody eats mentality, I think a lot of us were thinking, when is this going to maybe kind of wear out? And it hasn't, to their credit, necessarily. And then you add Amari Cooper in the mix, and he really kind of elevated that game. So it's good to see him back this week as well.
Pass rush. Led the NFL in sacks to the Denver Broncos defense, so it's going to really be something against a Bills offensive line who allowed the least amount of sacks. Obviously, Allen's mobility and escapability really plays into that as well. And with the everybody eats thing, Patrick Surtain, arguably the best cornerback in all of football, in years past, to be like, all right, Surtain Diggs, that's what you're going to do. Be curious, you would assume maybe Amari Cooper, maybe they just set him on one side of the field. That's a matchup that'll be interesting. But because of the way that this offense is structured, it's interesting to see that I don't think it's going to be that big of a field flipper because it's, well, that guy's covered, I'm just going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, Von Miller talked about that today, saying that it's a pretty clear indicator, usually week to week, who's going to win the game based off of, again, offensive line, defensive line, who's stronger. And he took a step back and he's like, I got to say that, this week is going to be a little bit different because there really isn't that clear-cut answer. Again, the Broncos leading the NFL, also breaking a franchise record of their own with 63 sacks compared to the Bills, just allowing 14 sacks for Josh Allen this season.
And before we move over to the defensive side of things, you have a tweet that's really going a bit wild here. Joe Brady is one of the hottest names out there getting requests for head coaching interviews, as he should be. And it's a funny response when Josh Allen was asked about the potential of his offensive coordinator getting looks elsewhere.
Yeah, I think 4 of the 6 teams now that are looking for a new head coach have requested Brady. And when asked about what Brady has meant to Josh this season, he kind of said, with that little Josh Allen smirk, he said, nothing. Teams should stay away from him. In the way that you would figure he would, but that was a quick and good response from Josh, I must say.
It's a response I actually heard guys say when Brian Dable was being courted by other teams, and he ultimately got a job, and here we are today. To the defensive side of things against the Broncos here, Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, but Sean McDermott making it clear the guy had more snaps as a quarterback in college than maybe anyone ever, and he's playing anything but like a rookie quarterback as he enters his first ever postseason.
Yeah, he's really playing at a high level right now in terms of being a rookie quarterback. I also think there's something a little bit scary and dangerous about a young quarterback who is now leading this team to their first postseason appearance since 2015, which is the last time that they won a Super Bowl, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. But, Josh Allen, the Bills, as we talk about, have gotten there. They've won their division the last 5 years. They've been the 2 seed however many years, compared to this Broncos team who, not to say that they don't have anything to lose, but it's a big deal to get in the playoffs in the first place and to have a rookie quarterback at the helm leading them there.
Sean Payton has done a heck of a job bringing slowly along Bo Nix, and this was a guy that he targeted in the draft. Some people were like, is Bo Nix actually a first-round type of pick? He's gotten better and better as the season has gone along. I believe AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
Oh, yes.
The final week of the regular season, the big key with Nix, and we've seen it with other quarterbacks that the Bills have faced, and honestly, I think as A.J. Epineza said, it's kind of the way it is around the league as a whole, the mobility, the dual threat ability of Nix. He can throw the football well. They've got some really good Cortland Sutton receivers, but it's Nix's ability when things break down, not to the level of Josh Allen, but he has the ability to hurt them should the Bills lose contain.
And people say this about, a couple different rookie quarterbacks. We heard it a little bit with Drake May, and now maybe we're hearing some comparisons as well with Bo Nix about just having that dual threat ability comparing to a young Josh Allen, right? So obviously, as you said, Josh has way, way, way more experience under his belt, especially in high-pressure situations, but we have heard those comparisons too.
So we'll see if they can maybe also confuse them, disguise things, and make the rookie quarterback use more of his brain than using more of his legs. Finally, third down defense. My goodness, I feel like even in the 6 weeks that I was gone on paternity leave, I'm watching games 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. The Bills are in the advantageous position, and the offense still moves the sticks. I think if you're going to go maybe boil things down, maybe the line of scrimmage is where you want to go to the wins or losses. But if the Bills keep giving up these 3rd and longs, you might escape the first round against the Broncos. But if you're thinking long term, that's something that has to be remedied quick.
Yeah, I mean, this defense has absolutely got to get them off the field and give the offense another opportunity to go down there and score. As we've seen Josh Allen, I mean, they're putting up 30, 40-plus points every single week. And still, as you said, that's been a problem. So once they get down the stretch, and not to overlook the Broncos in any way, because, again, we're talking about one of the top defenses in the NFL. But as they go down this stretch, step one, Broncos, again, clarifying that's going to be huge.
Rasul Douglas says neither the offense or the defense has played their best game yet. That includes games of the offense scoring 40-plus and the defense holding teams scoreless well into the fourth quarter. So this team at least is saying the best is yet to come. We will see when the Broncos and the Bills wild card round on Sunday inside Highmark Stadium at 1 o'clock. With Lindsey Moppert, I'm John Scott for Channel 2 Sports.